Hey everybody, it's Christina Powers. How are you today? I am going to show you a really awesome IT band rollout. And IT band is something that starts here in your hip, and this muscle we call the TFL, or tensor fascia lata, and it comes down into this band of tissue that runs and connects into the outside of your knee. The outside of your knee we call that lateral, inside of your knee we call medial. So there's a couple different ways to do this. If you want to, the laying down option is the way I'm going to demonstrate. But if you would rather, you can always sit up. The sitting up version will be less intense. So I'm going to show the sit up version and then I'm going to lay down. For this you'll need a couple yoga tune-up balls, or if you have a couple tennis balls, you can put them in a sock and tie the sock up. If you have the yoga tune-up balls, you'll keep them in their tote. I have two different sizes of yoga tune-up balls. One is the regular and this is the plus size, and I'm going to use the plus size today, but it's, you know, body person's choice. So anyway, if you're going to stay up, you'll stay up and you'll be doing a little more leaning and pushing with your hand over the meat of your thigh. But I'm going to demonstrate the laying down version. I'm going to start on my right side. So if you have a yoga block or a ball, you can put that for your head, or you can just use your arm. And then you want to put the balls a little bit you can start either high or low. So when you do this by yourself, you can start just kind of in this higher position. And just what I'm doing is I'm breathing here. I'm taking you through the steps. So just to keep this nice and tight and short for you, I always like to give you the steps, and then when you're exploring on your own, please feel free to stay and marinate as long as you want. And then after I breathe a few, you'll see this bottom leg, just bending and straightening it. So extending it is the straight and bending it is the flex. And this is nasty. I don't really like it, which means it's probably doing some good work. So that's an option. The other option is to turn the toes down and turn the toes up. So this is internal and external rotation at the hip, okay? And then you can also push your leg down into the floor and then release it. Okay, so that's more of an abduction if you're taking your leg and pushing it to the floor, and adduction, which is bringing it back up to this other leg. And this leg back here isn't doing anything, it's just supporting me and it's stable. Okay, so after I do that, I can take the balls down to the next section, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat all those things. So I'm going to breathe a couple, trying to breathe in through my nose and exhale through my nose, and then bend and straighten my knee. Sounds of life. You hear my lovely dog Laika. She loves to bark. Actually, Laika means in Russian to bark, which is super interesting. And then that internal and external rotation of your thigh. Okay, also that pushing down and releasing. Okay, and then I'm going to go a little bit closer. Now I'm not at the knee joint, I'm just above the knee joint. Okay, and the same game. I'm going to breathe, just relax that leg, and then bend and straighten. And then internally and externally rotate my thigh, and then push my thigh into the floor and release. Okay, and then what I do like doing up on my elbow is doing this slide and glide. Now you could, if you were to do this on your own, and we'll do this on the other side, is you could do this slide and glide first before you laid down. And this is pretty intense. I'm using a lot of weight in my elbow and a lot of weight in my foot to take the pressure off of the balls, because it's pretty intense for me. Okay, and then we'll let that go and we'll come over to the other side. So we'll start this time with elbow under shoulder, and we'll do that slide and glide. We call this in yoga tune-up and role model We call this just a stripping up and down through the side, whereas if we were to move forwards and back, that's more cross friction against the grain, more perpendicular to the way the muscle or the tissue is, whereas in the line of the tissue is this stripping, okay? So as you play and move with yourself, you'll find these sections that are a little tighter than other sections, and those are the spaces you want to stay for as long as you can, or tolerate, or just till you feel a change. And once again, we keep these videos tighter so you can get a good experience without spending so much time. And then when you have more time and you remember, you can do how you want. So again, I'm bending and straightening. For the purposes of today, I'm using this count of 3. We like to see using about 90 seconds in each muscle group as how that affects change, and I'm including that kind of in the whole rollout here. Okay, and then I'm moving the push down, and then release, and then I'm moving it down like one, distance of the balls in the toe to the next, and then this is, I'm having a little bit of funny business in my left knee lately. I felt it when I was running today, so I thought that this was going to be a little extra juicy on this side of stuff. So I'm turning my toes down, I'm turning my toes up. Once again, you can, we didn't add this on the other side, but you could do this oscillation where you're rocking forwards and backwards. My leg is just going forwards and backwards over the ball, so that cross friction. And then we forgot but just that pushing down. And then I'm moving it down a little bit more. If any time you want more pressure, you can kind of bring this top hip over, because that's gonna, or you can stack, right? Because that's gonna change it too. That'll give us more pressure. So I'm bending and straightening. I'm turning the toe down, turning the toe up. I'm pushing into the floor. And also, we didn't do this on the other side, and it's not happening very much, but we can move our hips a little bit forwards and backwards. And then you come up, and we could have checked this before or after, but just seeing how you get into another position for your hips, whether it's cross-legged or some kind of pigeon. But that's the rollout for your IT band. Thanks for being here. See you next time.